it's time to take this and add to create one convenient FrankenPlanner for the second quarter. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Tracy and this is A Girl with Plans. I want to thank you all for joining me today because we're going to be doing some FrankenPlanning. So if you don't know what it is basically going to take all of this and put it in one convenient notebook to make my life easier for the second quarter. So I will walk you through all of it, so don't worry at all. So yeah, I have quite a few things here, but I'm hoping they'll all fit on classic size disc. Fingers crossed. So yes, I'm only going to be putting in 3 months at a time, so that should help, but let's go ahead and get started. So in addition to these, I do have my current FrankenPlanner, which I have on expander disc. So that's what makes me a little nervous here, because I'm going to have to take some things out of here to make this planner functional. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to be using the notebook pieces from Live La Posh's Chic Coquet. Is that how you say that? I'm not sure. A notebook that I got as part of a box set, which the box set is sold out. They still have the sticker book, I believe. But I'm going to use this as my cover. I also have pulled the dividers. And when I was looking for a disc, unfortunately, I only had 8 of these pink ones. I don't know where the other one is, or maybe I've never had a full set of pink ones and I only got them in like rainbow sets. So I finally have collected almost enough. So I'm gonna like throw this one in the middle and hopefully it's disguised, because this is a little bit more rose than pink. So yeah, we're gonna put that one on first, and I'm gonna use this side instead of this side. Maybe I'll change, that would have been good for March actually, but maybe I'll change it and flip it for May to give like something different. I'll probably end up changing the cover. Who's kidding? But yeah, I usually put the luxe covers on, but because I want to go with the classic disc, I figured I better not press my luck, because I can probably only do 1 month at a time with a luxe cover. And when I say luxe cover, I mean like this type of cover, because it just takes up a lot more space. So I usually have to have expander discs because I don't like to do 1 month at a time. It's just a lot of work to set these up sometimes, and I'd rather just have it for 3 months. This cover, like I said, everything comes from Live Love Posh. I am an affiliate, so you can use my discount code AGWP10 to save 10%. And I will have my affiliate links, as always, down in the description box. So we don't need my budget stuff yet, so let's just set this aside. Because the first thing I need to do is actually, let's set all of these aside too. I actually don't think I need this particular planner because I think everything's in here. So this is the first pages. So like you have your name page, your perpetual calendar and stuff that came from the CalvaPlan dashboard planner. That's what I currently use as my catch-all. So I do want to keep that in the front, although truth be told, I have not really been using the perpetual calendar, but it's fine. I'm still going to keep it there. I'm also going to transfer over this folder because I only use this folder doing the monthly setup. It's what I use for my bill planning. Okay, and then the next section says inbox. This is my first quarter FrankenPlanner. I don't know if I mentioned that. I did not use this at all. So the thought process is I have notes pages in the back, but the inbox was for things that were going to be for future months. Like right now I have through the end of June in here. So like anything that was going to happen in July and August, I could write it down here. So that way when it comes time to change planners, then I could just transfer that information over and write it in the new planner. But with that said, I'm going to move June, May, and April over. Like I said, this is the CalvaPlan dashboard planner. That's what the layout looks like. I had some extra space on my expander disc, so that's why for my catch-all, I actually did put 6 months worth on there instead of the typical 3. But as long as I have a quarter, I'm fine. All right, and now I need to go back to the front, pull the top tab. Now, Live Love Posh also sells top tab dividers. I believe these particular ones I got off of Amazon. I will try to link them in my Amazon storefront if I can remember. Yeah, I've gotten some from Live Love Posh as well, but I only needed to order one thing, so I just got them from Amazon. All right, so I'm going to use these notebook dividers just to bring some cohesion, so that way when you get to the top tab, you'll have kind of the same theme behind it. I am not going to cut off the tabs. I could, but who knows, I might want to use it as a notebook later, so I don't want to do that just for putting it in this planner. Okay, so in my catch-all, I had another top tab, and for that one, I had these hourly pages in here. And if you have been following my channel and seen any of my goals, then you know that I'm trying to figure out how better to manage my time. So what I had wanted to do was some time studies on certain days, like on Friday, write everything that I did in the time that I did it, just so I can see where my day is getting away from me, because sometimes you don't realize how long things take. And sometimes you don't realize how long you're sitting on the couch doing nothing. I have not done it. And with just looking ahead to the next few months, I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it. If I get the urge to do it, I will add some pages to this planner. But for now, I'm not doing it. So that means these are going to be the only 3 sections here. Wait a minute. Is one of these upside down? Oh, April's at the bottom. Okay. That just annoys me. I like them all in order. So now we use this top tab divider. I do need to see if I have any of the, I don't know where I have the labels. Yes, I do. So I could do social, because this is going to be my social media section, because I am now moving my social media section into my FrankenPlanner instead of using a standalone weeks size planner. I'm just hoping that maybe FrankenPlanning it could help me at least get into it, especially because most weeks, not all weeks, I am using my catch-all dashboard weekly overview. I do have a daily planner. That's why I said most weeks, not all weeks. But if I'm in here for that, then hopefully I can come in here for this. So with that said, I am going to be pulling from this outdated planner. I have plenty of these homebody ones. I have some extras in here. That's why they're in here, that are undated, but I would rather go ahead and use the dated ones, even though they're out of date. I'll explain it in a minute. So, and I'll show you the layout in a minute. So I'm going to pull April, May, and June. I like to save I'd rather use out of date, especially if it's only 1 year out of date, before I use my undated, because undated actually is a little bit more work. As long as it wasn't a leap year the year prior, which it was. But so January and February I couldn't do, but now I'm good. All right, so like here's the month of May. So what I'm going to do, wait a minute, where's April? Oh, this months, Tracy, get your months order. I'm like, wait a minute. All right, so we're going to start with the month of April. There is. I like how those tabs all line up. Okay, so for the month of April, what I'm going to do is I obviously hide the 2024. I'm going to come in and white out all of the holidays, or put a sticker over it or something. I don't know yet. Probably just white it out. And then I'm going to make this Sunday a Monday start. So it'll be Monday, Tuesday through Sunday. So instead of Sunday through Saturday, it's going to be Monday through Sunday. And then that should allow everything to line up. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do to redate it. That way I don't have to redate all of the actual days. I'm just changing the days of the week up here and then whiting out the holidays, which you would have to white out the holidays here anyway. May you wouldn't, because May, everything is on a specific day of the week. No, you would for Cinco de Mayo, but Mother's Day and Memorial Day are on certain days of the week, so they should fall in line. Even if you changed it. I mean, if you didn't change it to a Monday start. But for me, it's just easier to white out the holidays and change it to a Monday start. I hope that was clear. Now that I'm like said it for like the 100th time, I'm like, I don't know how clear that was, but hopefully you understood what that is. And then here is the monthly layout. We have the dashboard here, which previously, when I say previously, I mean in 2024, when I use this particular layout for social media, I use this for stats tracking. I think I'm going to be using this more for just kind of like a monthly overview. Things that I know I have to get done this month, things that I might even need to prep for the following months if I know it's going to be super busy and things of that nature. I'll kind of put it on here to make it stand out. And then we have our checklist pages. You do have 31 boxes here if you did want to date it 1 through 31. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this by category. So I'm going to do YouTube up here, Instagram here, PR here, I don't know, shorts or something there. And then I'm just going to do list. So that is all I need for my social media. And then I am now going to, I got to pull back out my current planner. And now we are going to the finance section. This has a lot of FrankenPlanning within the FrankenPlanner. So this is going to get a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to pop in the top tab. I'm going to pop in one of my other, I just want to use these, and I think it's pretty. I don't know if I'll even refer to them throughout the month, but you know, they're there. Okay, so for this section, I am going to be using some of my DIY inserts. I am going to be pulling some monthly pages from the Happy Planner Budget Planner. And I'm also going to be pulling some note paper from this one because why not? So I already have some DIY stuff in here. So I'm going to pull things from my first quarter. I don't need it anymore in here. So the first section I have in my budget section is expenses. So I have it divided into expenses and budget. For my expenses, it's mainly like my annual log. So like my bill tracking log and things like that. And then my budget is more of my monthly stuff. You'll see in a minute. So the first thing in here is this was an undated calendar. And with the undated calendar, let's see, can I move this even further over? With the undated calendar, what I did is I just put one. I didn't have a 31 for this particular month. I don't know why they didn't have 31 stickers, but whatever. I didn't need it, so it's fine. So I just I hid the days of the week and I just put 1 through 30 here. And then I put the due dates of my bills, renewals, anything like that. I just put on here because they don't change. They're always the same date. The only thing that changes is sometimes my payday changes. And of course, sometimes the bill dates do change if it falls on a weekend or a holiday. But that's fine because this is like the earliest date it would be due, because usually if it falls on a holiday, I believe it's after the fact that it will be coming out. So I have this here so I don't have to recreate this every month. I do transfer some of these bills to my monthly catch-all calendar, but it's those that I have to pay myself that are not on auto pay, or those that are not every single month, like my water bill or my trash bill, because they come out so infrequent. Like my trash is every quarter, which I really wish I would have canceled that this month because they went up yet again. But because of that, I do like to capture that when it is coming out of my my bank account, because it's like a pretty decent amount at one time that isn't every single month. Okay, some other things that I created to myself are a subscription reminder, which I already have canceled some of these. So when I cancel them, I just draw a line through it. And then my bill tracker, this is pretty much the same thing as on this. I created this first, and then I took this and created this, because this is a little bit easier for me to understand than this, but I needed to go through this first. but I didn't want to like keep it somewhere else. I'm like, let's just keep it in here. So I'm going to put this here. I do have an extra one of these that I'm going to pop in here. I shouldn't need it, but if this one got like too hard to understand because of all the scratching through and stuff, then I could use this one. Behind this is my flex spending account for my medical expenses. I have a flex spending account where it's a medical credit card where they take money out of my check every month to cover the cost, and then it's whatever. It's hard to explain, but I have a set amount on the credit card at the beginning of my the fiscal year, and I have until the end of the fiscal year to use it or lose it. But for me, I never lose it because I use too much. I spend too much when it comes to medical stuff. So I'm just trying to make sure I don't spend more than I have, because then you end up having to pay it, which is fine. It's just an extra step. And then I have my electric bill history, which I definitely need to update, and my water bill history. This, once it gets filled up, I'm not going to do it again because usually they all stay the same. Like right here, they look like they've kind of gone within $10 of one another. And usually when they go up and down, it is pretty consistent. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep the electric bill because this is super helpful for me, even though I haven't filled it out, because I don't really need to fill it out now, because what I'm doing this year is like April's coming up. Oh, last year I spent $115 in April. That's crazy. I need to budget more than that this year because of course electricity went up like everything else did. So I will just budget more than that when I set my monthly budget. That's why this is helpful. And that's why I slack on writing the current stuff, because I'm mainly paying attention to the year prior. Okay, so that is it for my expenses section of my budget planner. So now I'm going to add the budget section of my budget planner. Now, like I said, I do not use a monthly calendar, but I do like to use a tab section to separate the months. So like I said, this is the Happy Planner monthly layout. I've already kind of gone through this because I am coming up on the end of the life of these planners. I don't think I have enough to get me through the rest of this year because everything in front of this has been used. So yeah, I had to go through and make sure I had enough pages. So I've kind of already went through these to make sure they're together and kind of set them up. I never do that in advance. Aren't y'all proud of me? It saved me some editing time. So what I did here, just so you know, is I just took the tab side. So then the other half of the calendar is still in my planner. The other half of the calendar on the back side is just this. I don't use this, so I just left it in here because like I said, I'm only using this as a divider. So I don't use this either, but I don't want to like tape it and waste it. So I just use these pages. And instead of weekly expenses, I will change this. I will white that out and then put a category on top. And when I say category, like I might do groceries or something like that, and then write all of my groceries expenses for the month. And if it's something like groceries, I will probably divide the page in half and do like groceries and gas is usually what I do. But some of these I do divide in half. Once I run out of this planner, like if I run out of the pages at the end of this year, before the end of this year, I'm just going to use notes pages. So the one thing I'm going to add to this is right after this tab divider, I'm going to put my DIY insert. So this I just created in Microsoft Office. You can probably do something similar in Google Docs. Unfortunately, I'm not very familiar with Google Docs. I probably should get familiar with it, but I'm not. You may be able to create something similar in Canva or find something already created as a template in Canva. But I did this in Microsoft Office. I just used, I created tables. Like this is actually one big table, and then I hid the rows and columns right here. So it looked like two separate tables. I didn't want to do like columns, like, you know, yeah, whatever. So this is my budget. This is how I come up with my budget. So what I do here is I have essential monthly bills, essential expenses. So those are things I have to pay whether I like it or not. Then we have non-essential monthly bills, aka streaming. Other expenses, this is what I call semi-essentials. So they don't rise to the level of essentials. A lot of these I could buy or could not buy, but at some point I'm going to have to get them. Like clothes, get my hair done, stuff like that. Like I have car maintenance on both, but car maintenance for essentials are like saving money for an oil change or things like that. Car maintenance on other expenses is like a car wash. Emergency funds, I also have car, home, and health here. That I usually just put a set amount aside, more of like a savings account, usually like $50 to $100, depending on how crazy the month is. And then I have my potential expenses, which typically are my subscription boxes, because I love me some subscription boxes. So I usually try to budget enough for having like one subscription box a quarter for each of these types. And then we have my annual or biannual expenses. So that's when a larger chunk of money is coming out of my account. So I like to keep track of that. And I went ahead and put the renewal months in here just so I kind of knew in advance when it was coming up. So like I know my American Express is going to be taking out my annual $99 in April, and then Les Mills, which I've actually already canceled, so I don't have to worry about that. But if I did, it would have been like $129 or something like that, but I canceled that, so I don't have to worry about it. And then on this other side, this is where I put my income here, and then here is just my budget for my miscellaneous expenses. I probably won't be using the budget for the miscellaneous expenses because I was previously, the past 2 months, I was using the monthly layout, which I'm now using for social media. I was using that for my budget, and I was kind of using the monthly dashboard part to do this. Now I'm just going to take some of the notes page from that same chic coquette. I'm going to keep saying that, a coquette. I'm going to keep saying that wrong, so I'm not going to say it anymore. But I'm going to pop these because it matches in here. And this is what I'm going to do to kind of set some monthly goals when it comes to budgeting, some actual budgets for categories and stuff like that. I'm going to stick some of the Budget Babe stickers from Live La Posh on here to kind of help my life go a little easier. So that's what I'm going to use for that. All right, so now that I've explained all that, I'm going to do the same thing for the other 2 months. And I will say really quick, so I did a DIY page. What I do in Microsoft, I primarily use Microsoft Office, so that's all I can kind of talk about. Like, I can't really explain how this would transfer to a different type of system. But for Microsoft Office, what I do is I edit my page size to the Happy Planner page size, which is 7 by 9 1/4. Even though when I print it on letter size paper, because because my printer thinks I'm printing it on 7 by 9 1/2, it actually sizes it down for me on like it thinks it's printed on smaller paper, but it centers it as well. And I find that easier because then when I go to print it on the back, it centers that as well. So then it's easier for front and back. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out how to do front and back. So for me, that's just the easiest. So I just go into my page settings in Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word, and I go in and change the page settings to custom 7 by 9 1/4. Even though I'm still printing on letter size paper, then once it prints out, I cut it down to size. Just kind of want to say that in case that was something that you were interested in trying to, try yourself. That's how I do it. There may be easier ways. I know if you're using like a PDF or something like that, you can resize it to like 82%, and it'll resize it to like a Happy Planner size. However, sometimes that might not print in the center. That's the only issue that I've had with it. Did I put? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Those are just, while we're throwing stuff in here, I figure I can chat about that. So there we go. That is my budget section. So monthly budget, insert for my budgets, then some note pages that I'm going to do some budgeting on, some budget goals, and then the Happy Planner finance planner or budgets planner that I'm going to record my expenses. Okay, so I got 3 months worth of that. Now we are going to go back to my catch-all planner, and I'm actually going to be taking, not my catch-all, my my Q1 FrankenPlanner. I'm going to be taking another top tab out. That says miscellaneous. In here, I have a home section. In my home section, I have 2 sheets of paper, right? Yeah. There's project goals, project pages. Ooh, I wonder if I have some pink ones. I might try to find some pink ones later because that'll be fun. I'm going to keep those in here. I'm going to transfer those over. I also have a travel section. I have 2 trips coming up this quarter. I have a work trip plus Go Wild. So I'll show you how I'm going to set that up. It's going to be a little different. Before, I just had notes pages in here so I can write things that were travel related. And because I love to travel and I always like having a trip on the horizon, I wanted to have that on here. I haven't used it, but you know, the thought was there. And then I have a notes section, which is just random notes pages. So you can see we have some daily plan pages. We'll use the pink because it's pink. We have some dot grid and some quad. Hopefully we can fit all of that in there. Okay, so now I can put that aside. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put the notes pages in first. Actually, we'll put the miscellaneous top tab in first. And then we'll put my very last notebook divider in here. Hope I have enough room. This feels like it's getting tight. Okay, I'm gonna start at the back because I think it's easier. I always like to have notes paper in here. I honestly don't use it very often, but the one time I don't have it in here and I'm using this planner, I'll want it and then I have to go hunting for it. So I don't want to be in that situation. So I'd rather have it in here and not use it than need it and not have it. Even though this stays at home, it does not leave my house. It's still, that's what I'm saying. All right, and then the next section is travel. I think the travel actually came from tabs that was in this notebook. That's why the tab doesn't match. All right, so travel, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. This is just a random planner cover that I had before. But I have an extension pack that is a Disney vertical extension pack from eons ago. And I don't really use it because I really don't use the vertical layout, but obviously there's color in it and stuff like that. This is actually really, really pretty though. So why am I using this for travel planning? Y'all, I might do a video on this, probably maybe when I'm getting prepped for Go Wild, because I love this. It's so weird. It's so simple, but it really works. And yes, Tracy, tell me what works. Don't just say it works. So I use the vertical layout to plan my clothing packing. So I love it because I will divide it into like morning, evening, and night. Or if I don't really need a morning, evening, and night, maybe I will put up here what I'm doing, like my daily itinerary, and then I will put day clothes and night clothes here. So I need the daily itinerary to know what I'm doing, to kind of think about like clothing. And then I might put like eventually as it gets closer, like the forecasted weather to kind of help too. So like for like my upcoming trips, that's probably what's going to happen. I'm going to probably have like itinerary and weather information up here, and then I'm going to take that and then start planning my outfits. So like for Go Wild, I'll be getting down there on Wednesday. So what I will do is I will like have, what do I have planned for Wednesday here? And then I guess I'm gonna have to do my plain outfit. Am I changing my plain outfit? Probably not. So I'll have my daytime outfit here, and then I'll have what I change into that night. I just find that it really helps me to break it down like this to keep me from overpacking. So like I'll throw in like an extra shirt or something like that. But like previously I would throw in like a lot of extra clothes. And then when you come home, you have to wash them all, even though you didn't wear them. So I like to try to keep things as simplistic as possible. So that's why I am doing this. So I need I have a trip in April and a trip in May. So I need... Okay. So I can just, I think this might be too many, but that's fine. And I'm going to go ahead and take the divider out too, because I just want a divider there. So I'm not going to take the second half of this, or should I? Let's just take it. Let's just take the whole month. It's fine. And this is going in my travel section so I can plan out my outfits, which makes my travel planning so much easier. Okay. So I'm going to put that there. Oh, let's do the whole month. So I need the back page too. So we're just doing the whole month. And that's going to be what I'm going to use for both trips. So for April and May. Okay. So we got that there. And then I think I pulled aside some paper. Yes. And then I use this to actually come up with my packing list. So this won't have my outfits on it, but I'll have everything else that is not outfit related. Goes on there. So all my toiletries and things like that. All right. So that is my travel section, which I went way into too much detail about, but I found something that works and I just wanted to share it. And I have to see if there's a different color because that's bothering me. And then here's my home section, which, because I already had a tab created for it and it makes it like that, I'm just going to keep, yes, a divider with 2 sheets of paper. So there we go. That is my FrankenPlanner for the second quarter. It's pretty thick. It did not need expander disc, but probably toward the end of April, I might be struggling a little bit when I start adding things to it. However, with that said, when May starts, I will take out April in each of these sections and put it in its like original planner. So for example, when May starts, I will tear out my April and put April in here. You can see I already have January and February in here because March is the only one that is currently in my first quarter planner because it just gives me space. So a recap, just in case you were confused. So in the very front, I have my FrankenPlanner kind of planner intro pages. So I have important dates. That. I have my perpetual calendar, which I don't use. I have my folder, which I love having the folder. And if I had more room, I probably need a folder for my social media section because there are icons that I like to use. But right now, I don't know. I might just have to stuff them in here as I start taking a month out. So in May, I might add a folder. And then here is my weekly overview catch-all section because I do have a daily catch-all planner that I use as my main planner. This is more of a supplement. And again, this is the FrankenPlanner dashboard planner. So I have 3 months of that. Nothing special there. And then we have my second notebook divider, which I just like using to kind of tie everything together. And then we come to my social section, which is my social media section. So I am using the Happy Planner monthly layout. Like I said, I am going to redate this. I'm going to white this out. I'm going to white out all the holidays. And then I'm going to change this to a Monday start and then done. This is the monthly layout. So I'm just going to use this to kind of plan for my social media. And hopefully this is enough. It should be. I'm nervous because I'm so used to having like weekly overviews and dated stuff that I'm kind of nervous, but I think I'll be fine. And then we come with my finance section and then my third notebook divider. And then we have my expenses, which is the first section in my finance section, which I showed you guys is my master calendar that lists all of my upcoming bills. I have my subscription reminders. I have my bill tracker, my flex spending account log, my electric bill history, water bill, which I'm probably going to get rid of. Not my water bill, but my log. And then we come to the budget section, which is more of my monthly budgeting. So I have my DIY insert, some note paper, which I will be kind of using to set my budget and some finance goals for the month. And then the weekly expense sheets, which I use for category expense tracking for the month. We have 3 months of that. And then finally, we have my miscellaneous section and the final divider in here. Aren't they so pretty? And then we have my home section with the lone few pages of the projects and goal sheets. These are Happy Planner, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. Then we have my travel section, which right now I have a very, very old, undated Disney vertical layout from the Happy Planner that I'm going to be using to plan my outfits. And then we have some of these. This is Live, Love, Posh checklist layout. These are super, super helpful. I love it. I love that it's 2 columns. So this is great for packing lists. So that's what I'm going to be using that for. And then we have my notes section, which just has some random Live, Love, Posh Happy Planner filler paper. So there we go, guys. That is my second quarter FrankenPlanner. I'm glad I went with the thin cover, because if I was going to be using one of these luxe covers, it wouldn't fit on these discs. I would have had to have gone to expander disc like this, because this is just a thicker plastic, so it would have been hard to go on here. Now with that said, as I start taking like some of the months out, so once I take April out, I might be able to switch the cover if I want to. So we'll see. I might just flip it around and try the other one, because, you know, why not? So there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed this second quarter planner setup. If you did, please hit that like button. If you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. I will be having some journal setup videos. I don't do bullet journaling as far as like everyday planning, but I do have some journals that I use on a monthly basis. So I do have to set those up for the month. Like I have a 3-year journal that I do daily prompts in, and I set those prompts up in advance. So I will probably be filming a video showing that. Plus I have a few other daily journals that I need to set up that just do kind of like monthly recaps. So there we go. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. And yeah, I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening or night. Until next time, bye.